Welcome back. It's one of those crucial days before the big weekend ahead of the presidential and National Assembly elections. Well, we'll continue our focus to that day. Well, we're joined now by Professor Osinbajo, the Vice Presidential Candidate of the APC. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
But in the midst of all of these preparations by everyone, even those who are involved, still allegations and counter-allegations are still making the rounds. I mean, what do you think of all of this?
Well, I think there's a bit of nervousness. That probably accounts for some of the allegations. Some of them simply don't make sense. I mean, talking about him, some of what I just heard now about a master key and those kinds of things, I mean, I think that's absurd. I mean, some of those things are having lost nervousness. I think
but your party also accusing PDP in some instances.
Yes, and generally so. Generally so. It's what we're saying is, why don't you want to use a card reader? Those are the kinds of accusations we're making. And a lot of the accusations have been demonstrated simply by historical records. For example, arresting leadership of the opposition the night before elections. That has been tried and tested by the ruling party time and time again. It was done in Osun, over 1,000 people. Ekiti, the Ekiti tapes evidently show it. So I think that there's fact, there's proof of what we accuse the APC, of what we accuse the PDP of doing. There's proof.
Okay, now let's talk about the process now that the Commission has put in place for these big elections, the card readers, the PVCs. You know, in spite of all that is going on, I think over 12 million or so haven't gotten their PVCs. But that notwithstanding, we will go ahead with these elections. What's your assessment of our preparation so far?
Well, as far as I can see, and it's difficult for me to say how well prepared, only INEC can really answer that, is what facts we have. You know, I think that we're at the point where if INEC assures us that they are well prepared for the elections, we have to take their word for it. But I have no way of really assessing how well prepared or how not well prepared. They have all the details, logistics and all that.
Does that mean that your party has no reservations whatsoever about all that is going on with preparations?
Well, I don't see why we should not have some bother about preparations. I mean, it's just that here we are. We don't have any details. You know, there are no detail. I mean, we don't know how materials will be deployed. We don't know how effective that will be. All of that will be on the day. There's no way of telling now how well prepared INEC is. There's just no way of telling.
Because I think I still remember when they said that concerning logistics,
yes,
that they were going to involve the National Union of Road Transport Workers. And many had thought that, whoa, how is that going to play out? But they say, look, they are part of our society. We have to do something to see how we can improve the entire process.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, really, I have no way of knowing what they're going to do eventually, whether they're going to use Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers or they have their own ways. I have no way of knowing that, really.
Professor Jega was here in the studios and
yes,
he reminded the nation that they've always met with political parties, and as the elections draw closer, they increase the number of times they met with political parties representatives. From the discussions or meetings that maybe your party's representatives gathered from the meetings, don't you think there must be something that you have some reservations with? I'm trying to recount what Chamberlain is asking. Aren't there some of these preparations that we've seen with INEC that your party is not too comfy with?
I think basic problems remain problems of logistics. You know, those are the basic problems, you know, and these recur election after election. You know, problems of logistics. I mean, election materials not getting to particular points when they ought to, election materials ending up somewhere where they shouldn't, and the kinds of things that you frequently come across in many of these elections. Those are the kinds of concerns, you know, that we have, and they're concerns that have been expressed, you know, and we honestly just hope that INEC will rectify some of the lapses in previous elections and ensure that this is free and fair.
It's a good thing that you say you've been able to express such kind of worry, knowing full well that the elections are time-based, time-bound. The process of accreditation between the hours of 8 o'clock to about 1 o'clock, and from 1:30 actual voting starts. And if election materials and even officials come late, it does definitely will affect the process.
Absolutely.
And you say INEC has assured political parties that that will be taken care of. What kind of faith do you have in such kind of assurance? Knowing full well, I am asking this, that we've always had such assurances, and we've seen that there have been some lapses in past elections, like in Anambra, there were a couple of others in Edo and even in Ondo elections. So what did you see from INEC that gave you this assurance that this
all we have is INEC's assurances. That's all we have. That's all we can go by. It's, as I said, you can only decide that on the day. You can only decide how well prepared they are on the day. All we can get are the assurances. We have no details of exactly what they plan to do or how they plan to do it. These are their logistic details. So all we can really wait for is the day. Let's see how it will turn out. There's absolutely no way of knowing how well prepared they are until the day. No way of knowing.
It's one thing to say, I assure you. It's another thing to feel assured. The question is, do you feel assured?
Do we feel assured? I think that we have to go by what INEC says. Here we are. We are parties in a contest. The umpire says, we've done everything we can and all of that. There's no other way of approaching this except to accept them on their word and go into the election.
So you're accepting INEC on its word?
Oh yeah, we have to. We have absolutely no choice.
Some people will say that you do have a choice. I mean,
what would that choice be? What would that choice be?
The choice is either to feel assured or not to feel assured.
No,
that is left to you. It's a choice.
No, I don't think that's the choice. That's not the choice. The reason why that cannot be the choice is that sometimes when an umpire says, this is all I've done in preparation, and historically, you know there have been logistic challenges, then of course you have to just say, well, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it plays out on the day. That's all you can say now. I mean, there's no way of saying that, oh, we're assured, we are confident that INEC will do what it says. There's no way of saying that.
You're not saying that, are you?
You can't say that.
You can't say that. So in the level of the acceptance of INEC's assurance, if you were to measure on a scale of, say, 1 to 100, where will your feelings be?
I wouldn't be able to say that at all. Absolutely no way of knowing until the day. Until the day, I wouldn't know that at all. I can't tell.
Well, I'll switch topic now to something that's been on my mind for a while. You've been on the campaign trail trying to push a message across to Nigerians as to what exactly you do for them, what your party has in store for them. But a lot of people, did not like the fact that they did not have the opportunity to compare ideas. Do you think that your message resonated enough with Nigerians in terms of what it is that you bring to the table?
Well, I think it did. I think that the feedback that we got from everywhere we went, people questioned us at the various town halls, several town halls, everywhere we went. People questioned us. Our free meals program, our free education program, social benefits, everything. People questioned us in the press, in the town hall meetings. People saying, how are you going to be able to afford to do this? How will you do that? How will you resolve with the dwindling economy? What are you going to do with the dwindling resources? What are you going to do? I think the message resonated. I think there is a clear message out there that this country is in badly in need of change.
Do you think that the town halls were as effective as what you might have had in a debate? I'll give you an instance. I did watch one of the town hall meetings that you had, and it looked to me, pardon me, I could be wrong here, but it looked to me like the hall was full of party supporters. And people will ask, are you sure that you really do have the people you should be talking to, the people whom you seek to convince in that hall?
Absolutely. I think that, I don't know which town hall you refer to, but every town hall that I attended had everyone, and people asked all sorts of questions. As a matter of fact, the town halls are places where people would ask you even questions that concern the state. People would ask you questions about markets, not just about federal concerns, because obviously many people don't even recognize the difference between executive powers of the local government, state or federal government. I think that a lot of the town halls, people asked practically every question under the sun. And I think they were important opportunities to engage with the people directly. The sort of thing you would not get in a debate ever. You couldn't possibly get that in a debate. I mean, how many questions can you possibly ask one candidate in a debate? And in some of these town halls, I get as many as 30 questions to ask. I'm sometimes on my feet for 2 hours, simply answering questions. Some of them were televised live, by the way. Channels televised some live. The one in Benin, the one in Akwa Ibom. These were situations where people asked a lot of questions.
In terms of comparative advantage, when we look at, because I imagine a situation where you were standing on your feet for 2 hours and perhaps the vice president, who is also vying to be vice president again, was on his feet for 2 hours, and people had that opportunity to compare what it was that both parties were offering, at least the major candidates of this political parties were offering. I still cannot see anything that could have beat that. Why did the party shy away from it?
Well, I don't think it was a question really of shying away. I think it was a question of making a choice between the sort of things that you wanted, the sort of encounters you wanted with the people. And I think that General Buhari debated in 2003, 2007, 2011, on all of these occasions. Every one of the other individuals who were contesting with him shied away, to use your expression. I mean, General Obasanjo didn't attend the debates. Goodluck Jonathan also, President Goodluck Jonathan, did not attend the debates also. So I think he made his own choice.
Even though I'm not too sure if he attended in 2003, but I'll double check that, because I think there was a statement issued by his party that he didn't receive the notice, General Buhari. But I've heard people also say that he did?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll double check. But I heard people say that part of the real reason why he didn't want to attend this debate is because there may be some questions, maybe they're not sure if they'll be able to manage his temperament on that day, and though they said, well, let's not go out there and expose certain things.
But don't forget that General Buhari has debated at least thrice. At least thrice. So what was there to manage? He's debated at least 3 times.
All right, let's take a look at your
manifesto. No other candidate has debated that often, to the best of my knowledge.